what's going on, everyone? Today we are taking a look at the Poly Sync 20, a certified for Microsoft Teams speakerphone. There are certified and non-certified versions of the Sync 20, but of course I play in Microsoft Teams so much that I like to cover the certified versions. In this video, we'll be unboxing the device, of course, taking a close look at it, doing a device overview, seeing the physical features, buttons, cabling options, Bluetooth options. We'll then be doing a demo of how to manage it using PolyLens, updating software. We'll look at the Microsoft Teams integration points, and then of course we will demo recording our audio, our voice, through the microphones of the Sync 20. Let's dig in. Again, as mentioned, this is the certified for Microsoft Teams version of the Sync 20. We'll pop the front of the box open. And inside, we've got the certified for Teams insert here, letting us know that our device is ready to integrate with Microsoft Teams directly using the buttons on the device. We've got our quick start guide attached to the strap here with the Bluetooth dongle. We'll slide that right off. Bluetooth dongle is just using a little bit of stickiness to stick there, so it removes. And as we come in closer there's this little tab. We pull the tab off, and we can see the Bluetooth dongle a little more clearly. It is USB-C on this side, and it will light up. It's got a little LED in there to show us when it's in use. Flipping the quick start guide open, we've got first time use here. We can use the provided cord cable to connect the device to a laptop. We can then manage our settings and update it and all that good stuff. You could also plug it into an outlet converter for USB. We can also pair it to our mobile device if we want to with Bluetooth. Here it points out we've got a corded setup option that allows us to connect directly with USB to a laptop. Then we can manage it in PolyLens. For the PolySync 20 Plus, we have the USB adapter setup. Over here on the far right, we've got the ability to charge your phone using a cable you provide yourself by plugging into this port on the Sync 20. And to charge the speakerphone, we obviously need to use the provided cable to plug in either to the laptop or to an wall outlet converter. Flipping this page over, we get a brief tour of our buttons. We've got a mute button in the center, plus and minus for our volume. We've got the play pause button over here. We've got the phone button over here, which will be your AI. Power button on the side here. We've got the Bluetooth connectivity button on this side, on the left side of the side panel. And then, of course, the lightning charging port for our phone connectivity. And of course, on the very back of the pamphlet, it tells you go to poly.com/lens. There you can customize your speakerphone by configuring buttons and behaviors. With our quick start guide out of the way, we can pull the travel carrying case out, and our device is inside. Before we get to that, we've got a little bit more documentation at the very bottom here. All of our regulatory and compliance documentation, and of course this optional strap for carrying the device. Now the Sync 20 ships already in its travel carry case here. This is an elastic band holding the top flap down. We can simply pull that out, and then with that pulled out, we reach inside and pull the Sync 20 out. Coming in for a closer look at the carrying case, we've got this little red insert here showing us that there is a pocket on the inside. Right there, we can put our USB dongle in there for travel. Removing the red sticker here, it shows that we have the rocket ship underneath of it, and we can customize what that button does in the Poly software. Right up top, in addition to that rocket ship button, we've got the Microsoft Teams button, which will perform certified Microsoft Teams functions just by pressing that. We've also got our volume up and down, our mute button, and then of course our ability to answer calls, hang up calls, and interact with our AI virtual assistants. Sliding the Sync 20 around to the side, you can see we've got our Bluetooth button over to the left. We've got our power button on the right. And then pulling this little protective plastic or rubber insert out of the way, you can see we've got a USB port right there, USB-A, that we can use to charge a mobile phone through. Coming around to the side and bottom, you can see that on the bottom, we've got the 4 rubber grips down here, allowing us to set this on a surface and without it scooting around or getting bumped around on the surface of the desk too much. And right above this bottom portion, you can see this USB cable wrapped around. We have a convenient way to keep the cable tucked when you're transporting it or moving it. But if you want to use it, it simply slides out of this little indentation right up top, USB-C, and then the cable will unwrap from this portion a couple different times, and we can use that for plugging into our PC or a wall charger. So over on the laptop, we have the PolyLens software installed. As you can see, we have had several Poly devices connected to this laptop. We currently have a Voyager Focus 2 headset plugged in, and I've got the BT700, which is that Bluetooth dongle plugged into this machine as well. Already, as I've plugged that in, it says, hey, you have an update pending for this. Brand new dongle that we just connected in for the purposes of connecting our Sync 20 to the machine. I have not turned the Sync 20 on yet, so let's go ahead and update the firmware on the dongle itself, and then once the firmware update is done, we'll power the Sync 20 on. All right, our software update is finished. We'll go ahead and say done there, and we can now see the device is connected and software is up to date. Coming over to settings, there really isn't much going on there because it's just a Bluetooth dongle. Dial tone is on. There's, of course, support options that it gives you. But we'll go back over to overview. And with that, we now see we've got our Sync 20 over to the side. All right, we'll hold the power. PC connected. We'll hold the power down a little bit. It tells us battery is low, PC connected. We need to charge with that cable. Coming up for a closer look, you can see we've got that rocket ship lit up, and we've got a purple Microsoft Teams logo lit up as well. Set that back on the table. We got this status LED indicator right up top, and we'll go over to our PolyLens and see that we now have a Sync 20M in here, and it is at the latest software version. Only 25% battery, but it's connected, and we don't need to do anything else with the software because it's updated. If there was a new version, it would prompt us here and we would update. Coming over to the USB adapter, we see that it's using that Bluetooth dongle. We just updated it, so we're good. And settings, this is where we can actually customize things after we're done updating the firmware. For language, we're going to leave it at English, but there's obviously other options you could have chosen from. General. So we got our second incoming call. What do we want? What behavior do we want there? Ring once, ring continuously, ignore it. Do we want mute alerts? Yes, we do. What are the types of mute alerts we want? Single tone, double tone, or voice. Notification tones. So this is where you're going to hear notification tones from other connected devices while streaming audio. That's off by default. You've got your connection indication. This is the way that you select the alert you hear when the device makes a wireless connection. It's got voice by default, but you can turn that to tone. The rocket. What do we want that rocket button to do? We can configure the rocket button to either play or pause for media, hold or resume a call, clear our trusted device list, redial for mobile only, status check, and then if you want it to be your assistant, your virtual assistant, Siri or Google Assistant or whatever, you can make it be that. So we've got play or pause. I'm going to go ahead and make it be hold or resume call because we're going to demo a Teams call, so we'll see that behavior from that rocket button. Battery status, we want to hear when the battery status is low. Yes, we do. And equalizer. So we can set the equalizer preset. It's at base, but you can make it flat or bright. Under ringtones and volume, for our volume level tones, you can do entry level or minimum and maximum only. You can have a ringtone. This plays the ringtone that you hear when a connected device rings and does not have its own ringtone. It's off, but you can turn it on. Volume min-max alerts. So do we want to be notified? Of course we do. What do we want that notification to be when we've reached volume minimum or maximum, tone or voice? For our soft phone and media players category, do we want to hear a dial tone for a VoIP call? Yes, we do. Wireless. Do we want HD voice turned on? It's on by default. We'll leave that alone. Exclusive connections. This removes the previous paired device information when the new device is connected. This allows only one device to connect at a time. It's kind of handy to be able to connect multiple devices, but there may be times where you don't want that. So it's off, but you can turn it on. Auto disconnect Bluetooth. This is on by default. Disconnects the Bluetooth when the device enters standby mode. And then finally, we've got our restore defaults section under reset device. If you want to change all the stuff you did and bring it back to its out of the box status, just restore the defaults there. And then under soft phones and media players at the bottom, we've got again, dial tone is turned on. Finally, there's the support section over here. We're going to skip out on all of that because we don't need to do anything. But if you need a quick place to find your quick start guide or user guides, you want to contact support, or we want to have device info and logs gathered for support reasons, this is where you would do that. Okay, now before we demo our Teams integration, we want to make sure that our Teams client is understanding that the Sync 20 is our device of choice. So we'll go into our device settings up in the Teams client, and we'll go down to devices. And instead of saying audio devices are the focus that I'm using right now, we're going to say it's actually the BT700, which will be our echo canceling speakerphone. So we'll leave that selected there, and we'll close this out. And with that having been selected, I'm now going to minimize the Teams client. And let's say you had a ton of windows open. You didn't want to have to hunt and find the Teams client on there. You just wanted to quickly bring your Teams client to the forefront of your screen. We know it's open. We know it's in use. We use that Teams button on our Sync 20. We just tap that and boom, the Microsoft Teams client immediately comes to the forefront. Now let's go ahead and show this thing in a meeting. We'll say meet now. We'll start that meeting. And as soon as we do that, we'll go ahead and turn the video off because we're already using the video for this recording. But we can see here when we go to device settings that we want to make sure BT700, that's our Bluetooth dongle. Or if we're not using the Bluetooth dongle, maybe we have connected the sync with a USB cable, we want to select the sync from this menu so that it's the one being used for both our speaker and microphone. With the correct device selected, let's say join now. And we don't want to invite anyone else to this meeting, but we can see our LED status turned to green here. Now, we notice that we are not muted up top. If I click the mute button, we are muted in the meeting, and we can see that we are now a red on our status LED indicator there. So we will unmute, and we are unmuted back over here at the client as well. The other integration point that I want to show off, we're looking at our participants, and of course, I'm the only participant. If I press and hold the Teams button down here, we will see after a couple seconds that the hand gets raised in meeting. Pretty cool. Now, if we go ahead and press and hold again, it will lower our hand when we're done. So we can participate in this meeting without having to mess with our keyboard or mouse. We can just bring up Microsoft Teams. We can raise our hand, lower our hand, mute ourselves, all from the Sync 20. Cool points of integration. So I was using my Poly Voyager Focus headset a moment ago. You heard what that audio sounded like. Now I am sitting roughly 2 feet away from the Sync 20, and the audio that you are hearing in this recording is actually the Sync 20. If I go ahead and mute the Sync 20 and keep talking, and when I unmute, you can hear me once again. I said you see me talking, but you don't actually hear me because I'm muted. Just a quick demonstration of what the Sync 20 sounds like about 2 feet away, sitting on my desk as a personal speakerphone device. I'll go ahead and slide back about, hit a little bit of metal on the ground. Now I'm roughly 4 or 5 feet away from the device. You can hear what I sound like in the room still. If I talk a little quieter, you can hear what it sounds like. And if I talk a little bit louder, you hear what it sounds like. A little bit of a demo there of using the Sync 20 from a couple varying levels of distance, varying levels of tone in my voice. Hopefully you get a good comparison of what that sounds like compared to the headset of the Voyager Focus 2. Not that we're comparing apples and oranges there. You're comparing a headset microphone with the boom mic from Poly with a speakerphone, which is a whole different experience. But I wanted to give you a feel for what the speakerphone mic
sounds like as it's being recorded into, in this case, Camtasia.
So there you have it, the Poly Sync 20, certified for Microsoft Teams. Hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, I would ask that you kindly like the video below here on the YouTube channel, and then don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, also turning on notifications, because you know I'm going to create more awesome content, and you know you don't want to miss out on it. Thanks for tuning in. Again, hope this was helpful, and I hope that we'll see you back here for the next product overview video.